welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing the first coding video. It's going to be a very simple beginner friendly Python project. Like if you know just the very basics of Python, if you are like in the first or second chapter of whatever you are using to learn, you should be able to follow along. We're going to be creating a Python game, the popular rock paper scissors game. Just in case you don't remember the rules, here you go. Great. Okay, let's get started. But first, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Okay, come with me. Okay guys, before we start coding, I want to show you what the app would look like. This is it, simple, minimal graphics, really easy to do. Let's see what happens when we click. Yay, good luck. We actually won the first time. We lost. We won again. It's a tie. So this is what it will look like. So let's start coding. I'll be using 3 libraries. tkinter for the GUI, Python's random library to generate the computer's random choice, and playsound for the click sound you hear when we click the buttons. Okay, let's start coding. We start by actually importing the libraries. My text editor of choice is Visual Studio, and I'll just be using the terminal to run the script, but really you could use any IDE you prefer. This is just my choice. Let's start by importing the libraries. Next, I'll have some global variables to make it easy to manage and change certain parameters without messing too much with the code. I'll be using having the width variables for the width of the game and the height for the height. Next, I'll have a variable for the title, which is rock, paper, scissors. And next, I would have a variable also for the button sound. This is just a path to the audio file for the sound in my computer. I already have the file downloaded in my computer. Like if you see my path here, if you see my file here, I have the file I'm currently writing into, which is RPS, and then I have the audio file here. Next, I'll be using an object-oriented programming structure just to make it easy to manage. And I have 2 variables, the player score and then the machine score. I make this class variable so that any function that reads the same value from the player score, and any function that updates it. So this value is going to be the same all over the class. Next, we initialize certain class variables. Here I'll be creating the window, but first I would have the RPS options. I'll just have a list to represent all the possible options for the game. So it could be rock, paper, scissors, and they are all strings. Next, I'll be creating the window. This is just how you create the window. It's like the overall container for everything in the game. So the next thing we do, I'll be setting the size of the window using the variables we have above. This function actually takes in strings, so I need to convert it into strings using this curly brackets and Python's format function. Next, I want to set the color of the window. Oops, I messed up here. For this, you could actually use the name of the color by just like using the hex values, and I have a website I use here. So let's just choose any random color for the window color. And we'll be setting the title of the window to the title we have above. Okay, so guys, now we have the window all set. I want to show you what it looks like before we even go further. To do that, we need something that actually creates the window. When you create a window in tkinter, to actually display it, you use its main loop function. So I would have a function called run app that just calls the Windows main loop function. So this is it. I'll just call the Windows main loop function. Main loop, I believe. Next, of course, we need to create an instance of the class to be able to do anything. So for this, I just call it RPS app. You can really call it whatever you like. And we call the function run app. So all this does, after all this has been initialized, it calls this function. So let's see what it looks like now. We haven't done much. I'm using Python 3 to run it. Oh guys, we messed up. What did we do? I wanted to call this skin TK. Okay, so this is what it looks like before we do anything. We just have the window, the title, the column. Next, if you remember, we need a text area to display the our choices and who won and the overall score. So for that, I need to insert a tkinter text area into the window, and I just do that like this. So this master parameter actually just tells the text area whose widget it should be in. So we want it to be inside the window. So we just set the master as the window, and I set the height and the width of the widget of the text. And here I set the color. Again, I want to use a hex color, so this color. So guys, I'm using different colors than what we had in the one I showed you, so it may actually look different, but it's going to do the same thing. Next, this grid just tells it where to place the function where to place the text within the window. There are actually different ways to do this. There's another one called pack. I just choose to use this, but I think for more complex projects, it may be better to use pack. So let's see what it looks like now. So we have the text area. Great guys, this is going well. So we have the window and the text, but we don't have the buttons yet. We are going to have a function that creates the buttons, but we will be doing this later. So let's just post pass, and we would also create the buttons when we are initializing, but we don't have that yet. So next, let's actually start writing the part that does actual work. First, we need something that randomly selects for the computer. So we are going to have a computer choice function, and it's just going to choose randomly from all the possible options. These are the possible options, so we just use the random library to choose one. So this is random library, has this random.choice, and you could just put in the list you want it to choose randomly from. You could just tell it to return this. So anytime this function is called, it's going to return a random choice for the computer. Next, we need a way to choose the winner based on what was chosen, based on both the computer's choice and the player's choice. So we'll have a function that takes in the computer's choice and takes in the player's choice. For this, there are actually three possibilities. It's either the player wins, it's actually either it's a tie, or the machine wins. So we're going to have three string variables that tell it what it will print out on each case. And guys, you'll see how we would use these variables as we go further. Okay, so now, like we said, 3 choices, and we have to handle both choices. So first, if it's a tie, means the player choice and the computer choice is the same. So we just do if player choice is equal to computer choice, and then we want to print it's a tie. We want to print the tie variable. Now this print statement just prints to the log, and we're going to have a variable that sets a winner statement. You'll see how we would use this also as we go further. So next we have 3 possibilities for the player winning. I'm just going to copy that because I have the code. So these are the possibilities. Oops, I need to change this to computer choice. So guys, remember the rules. These are the possibilities these are the only way the player can win. It's either the player selects rock and the computer selects scissors, the player wins. If the player selects paper and the computer selects rock, the player wins. And if the player selects scissors and the computer selects paper, the player also wins. So any other case, then is the computer that won. These are all the possibilities. We just use an or statement to check if any one of them is true. If no one is true, then it means the computer won. So we just said that. So we have this player score and the machine score that is updated if the player wins or if the computer wins. It just updates this global variable we have here. So next, guys, this is the part where we actually display the text on the screen. We have a result variable that just takes in the computer choice. So it's going to show you your choice. Actually, I'm just going to paste this because I have it so this variable is just this result is just a string that is formatted with all the variables we use. So it shows your choice and replaces it with player choice. Then it shows the machine choice and replaces that with the actual value of the machine choice. And then it's going to show the winner statement, which is where we see whether we won or we lost. And next is going to show your current score and the machine score. So this is the string that we have. This is the string we want to display, but we don't have anything that prints it to the text area yet. So to do that, this is what we do. The text has an insert method for inserting text into it. And we use this tkinter's end variable just to tell it to put it at the available space on the next line. But before this, because at every time we play, we want to delete what was already in the text area. So we need something that handles that. So in this case, we delete. So this just handles the delete. So guys, yeah, we're done with this. This is the part that inserts to the text, but we need to use this get winner function. Oops, I did get window. We need to use this get winner function. So for the buttons, we need functions that handle each button. So when the rock is clicked, we need a function that handles rock. When the scissors button is clicked, we need a function that handles scissors. For that, we just do this. We have a function for each one. So we have rock and we have self. If the rock function is clicked, it means that the player choice was rock. So from RPS options, we just select the rock, which is 0. And then we get a random choice for the computer. So computer choice is going to be equal to the function we had that gets the random choice, which is. Next, we call the get winner function so we know who won. So we do this get winner, and then we pass in the player choice and the computer choice. And we return. And we just do a similar thing for so we have the rock, the scissors, and the paper, and we just do a similar thing for all the others. Okay guys, so these functions are exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the player choice. If this function is called, it means that the player choice is paper, and if this function is called, it means that the player choice is scissors, which is item 2 on this list. Finally guys, we need to create the buttons. So we have 3 buttons as you saw, so we're just going to do this. This is how you create buttons with tkinter. We want to tell it what text to display on the button. Next, we want to set the size of the button, the width. We set it to 9. You can set it to anything you want. Next, we set the background. We can also set the height of the button, but the default size when you don't put anything was actually good enough for what I wanted. Again, we need a color. And finally, we need to tell it, okay, it has to be a string. Finally, we need to tell it which function to call when it's called, or when it's clicked rather. And in this case, we want it to call the rock function. Next thing again is the grid, which I talked about as the geometry manager of choice for this project. This just tells it where to place the button within the window. So I want it to be on column 0 and row 0, and I set pad X to 10. This just tells it how much space on both sides, and then pad Y tells it how much space on the top and bottom we want. And we do a similar thing for the 2 other buttons we have. So we would have 2 buttons, the rock button and the scissors button, or rather the paper button and the scissors button. So we have rock, paper, scissors, and then I want different colors for them. This is really just random guys, I'm not even trying to be aesthetic. This color. Finally, for the column, so I want everything on the same row but on different columns. So remember, it was on the same line, so I'm going to leave it at row 0, but for the others I'm going to change it to row 1 and row 2. So now we have most of what we want, so let's see what it looks like guys. Let's clear this so we can have a clear view. So guys, this is what it looks like. I don't think I like my color scheme, but it's going to work for now. So you see, we lost, we won. So this is what our game would look like. The only thing missing now is the sound. So for the sound, I'm going to just call the sound function every time that the button is clicked. So for this, I just use, like, every time a function is called, every time the rock, paper, or scissors function is called, I want to also play the sound. So I'm just going to do the button sound which we had earlier, and I'm going to do this for all the functions. Okay, let's see what this looks like now guys. Still the same thing, but hopefully it plays. See, when I click now, there's sound. And the last thing I want to show you guys is the log. So remember, we have print statements here. And that just prints to the terminal. That's it guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you were able to follow along. I'm going to leave a link to the fully commented code in the description box, along with requirements for this project and also suggestions on ways you can even improve it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you are not subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, please hit like. As always, guys, remember, impossible is nothing.